The Matrix was a cultural seismic shift, a blend of cyberpunk, philosophy, and groundbreaking action that redefined cinematic possibilities. The Wachowskis crafted a narrative that questioned reality itself, posing profound questions about free will and perception. Its impact on cinema is undeniable. Its iconic slow-motion action sequence, the bullet time, revolutionized action filmmaking and has been endlessly imitated and referenced in countless movies, video games, and other media. The film's visual style, combining sleek leather trench coats with futuristic technology, became a defining aesthetic of the late 90s and early 2000s. From its intricate plot to its stunning visual effects, The Matrix is a masterpiece in every aspect. It seamlessly merged complex philosophical ideas with exhilarating action, leaving an indelible mark on popular culture and changing the landscape of cinema forever. In this video, we're diving deep into the rabbit hole of The Matrix, exploring a plethora of fascinating fun facts that reveal the intricate layers of this iconic movie. From the mind-bending special effects that push the boundaries of filmmaking to the subtle details that foreshadowed key plot points, we'll uncover the secrets that made this flick so impactful and continue to resonate with viewers today. But before we begin, a quick warning of heavy spoilers is on the table, so be prepared for what's coming. The iconic opening action sequence where Trinity battles police officers required a staggering 6 months of intensive training for Carrie-Anne Moss and the stunt team to achieve the necessary level of skill and precision. Even with this extensive preparation, the actual filming of the scene took 4 full days. This lengthy process underscores the meticulous attention to detail and the emphasis on realism that the Wachowskis demanded, setting a new standard for action filmmaking and contributing significantly to the film's lasting impact. Warner Bros. Was initially concerned about the film's complex and philosophical storyline. They described the screenplay as the script that nobody understands, fearing that audiences would be confused by its intricate concepts. Consequently, the studio insisted on adding a significant amount of explanatory dialogue and exposition to the film. This was done to ensure that viewers could follow the plot and grasp the film's deeper themes, even if they found some aspects challenging to comprehend. Additionally, the Wachowskis placed a strong emphasis on the film's philosophical underpinnings, requiring the actors to grasp and articulate the movie's concepts beyond just their on-screen performances. To achieve this, they required most of the cast to read Jean Baudrillard's book, Simulacra and Simulation. Keanu Reeves even had to read this, along with other works like Out of Control by Kevin Kelly and Introducing Evolutionary Psychology by Dylan Evans, before even seeing the script. Through dedicated study, Reeves was able to understand and explain the complex philosophical ideas woven into the film's narrative. However, Carrie-Anne Moss admitted that she found this process mostly challenging. Lawrence Fishburne, on the other hand, who played Morpheus, had a unique perspective on the script. Unlike many others who found it perplexing, he understood the complex concepts immediately. But his understanding didn't translate into confidence about the film's production. He expressed doubt about whether the movie would ever be made, not because he found it confusing, but precisely because he found it, quote, so smart. Fishburne recognized the film's intellectual depth and philosophical themes, and worried that its intelligence might make it too challenging for a mainstream audience, potentially hindering its production. Ironically, Fishburne had a surprising reaction to seeing his Morpheus character in the film for the first time. He confessed that Morpheus himself, quote, scared the shit out of me. Lawrence was also excited and was almost immediately on board after reading the script. There's no denying that Reeves, Moss, and Fishburne indeed put their all into their roles in the film, and without them, this movie wasn't going to have the impact it has until this very day. Keanu Reeves went to extreme lengths to visually portray Neo's weakened state in the scene where he awakens in the pod within the Matrix. To achieve an emaciated appearance, Reeves lost 15 pounds and shaved his entire body. This physical transformation was a deliberate choice to emphasize the character's vulnerability and the harsh reality of his captivity within the simulated world. During the filming of the iconic lobby shootout, a moment of unplanned chaos added an unexpected layer of realism to the scene. As the camera showed the aftermath of the gunfight, a large chunk of one of the pillars unexpectedly crumbled and fell. Rather than discarding the take, the Wachowskis recognized the dramatic effect of this accidental moment and chose to keep it in the final cut, which highlighted the film's raw, visceral action and enhanced the film's authenticity. The Wachowskis employed a distinct color palette to visually differentiate between the simulated world of the Matrix and the harsh reality outside. Scenes set within the Matrix were given a green tint, mimicking the glow of a computer monitor to emphasize the artificiality of the environment. Conversely, scenes in the real world were tinted blue, creating a cold, sterile atmosphere. Interestingly, the directors avoided using blue within the Matrix, believing it to be a color associated with reality, despite blue being relatively rare in the natural world. The fight scene between Morpheus and Neo, which takes place in a constructed training program that exists in a liminal space between the two worlds, was given a yellow tint, symbolizing its ambiguous nature and transitional state. This deliberate use of color served as a visual cue for the audience, helping them distinguish between the different realities portrayed in the film. The Wachowski directors have openly acknowledged the significant influence of the Japanese manga and anime film Ghost in the Shell on the creation of The Matrix. This influence is evident in the film's cyberpunk aesthetic, its exploration of virtual reality and artificial intelligence, and its action sequences. The directors drew inspiration from Ghost in the Shell's philosophical themes and visual style, incorporating elements of its dystopian future and technologically advanced world into their own narrative. Keanu Reeves' commitment to his role was tested even before filming began, as he suffered a 2-level fusion of his cervical spine, which had begun to cause paralysis in his legs, leading him to undergo neck surgery. Although he was still recovering from this major surgery during pre-production, Reeves was determined to train for his role. Stunt coordinator Yuen Wu-ping, who was aware of his condition, initially limited his training to punches and lighter moves. Reeves' dedication was evident in his rigorous training schedule, as he requested sessions on his days off. However, the surgery's impact meant he couldn't kick for the first 2 months of his 4-month training period. This limitation resulted in a noticeable absence of kicks in Neo's fighting style throughout the film, a direct consequence of Reeves' medical condition and his determination to still participate in the intense action sequences. Similarly, Hugo Weaving, who played Agent Smith, also injured his leg on the first day of shooting. The injury was more serious than initially thought, requiring surgery to remove a polyp. This led to concerns that Weaving would have to be recast, potentially derailing the film. However, the production team creatively resolved the issue by rearranging the shooting schedule. They postponed all of Weaving's stunt work until the end of filming, allowing him time to recover from surgery and rehabilitation. The movie almost had a very different cast. Will Smith was one of the initial choices for Neo, but he opted for Wild Wild West instead. He later admitted that he was, quote, not mature enough as an actor, and that, if given the role, he would have messed it up. He didn't regret his decision though, saying that, quote, Keanu was brilliant as Neo. He also added that if he had taken the part, Val Kilmer was going to be the studio's pick for Morpheus, meaning that the audience would have been deprived of Lawrence Fishburne's iconic performance. Similarly, Sandra Bullock was offered the role of Trinity, but allegedly turned it down because of Smith's potential involvement. She later regretted her decision, as taking the role would have reunited her with Keanu Reeves from Speed. Additionally, several other actors were also brought in for the role of Neo, including Brad Pitt, who was doing 7 years in Tibet at the time. But after finishing that film, he said that he was too exhausted to take on the role. Leonardo DiCaprio also agreed to take the offer at first, but after learning about the movie's concept, he said, I can't go do another visual effects movie having just finished Titanic. And he eventually dropped out too. Furthermore, composer Don Davis revealed that the Wachowskis' very first choice for Neo was Johnny Depp, but Warner Brothers favored established box office draws like Brad Pitt or Val Kilmer. After both Pitt and Kilmer declined, the studio was willing to consider Depp, leading to a final decision between him and Keanu Reeves, whom the studio strongly pushed. Ultimately, Reeves' deep understanding and connection to the film's complex concepts proved decisive, and he secured the role. Hugo Weaving's portrayal of Agent Smith was a unique and memorable performance, driven by the actor's own amusement with the character. He crafted a distinct neutral accent for Smith, aiming to create a voice that was neither robotic nor entirely human. Weaving also revealed that the Wachowskis' own deep voices influenced his vocal delivery. Beyond the character's voice, Weaving was drawn to the role by the opportunity to expand his acting abilities. He expressed excitement at being involved in a project that would push him creatively. This enthusiasm translated into a compelling performance, making Agent Smith an iconic and chilling villain. Despite its groundbreaking visual effects and action sequences, The Matrix was produced on a relatively tight budget. Costume designer Kim Barrett revealed that this financial constraint significantly influenced the design of the character's iconic outfits. Trinity's sleek black costume, a symbol of her agility and power, was crafted from inexpensive PVC material. Similarly, Neo's flowing coat, a defining element of his look, wasn't made from high-end fabric. Instead, it was a simple wool blend, purchased for a mere $3 per yard. Despite its distinctly American urban setting, the movie was primarily filmed in Sydney, Australia. However, location scouts faced a significant challenge in finding suitable rundown, American-looking locations. Sydney's landscape, while modern, lacked the specific urban decay aesthetic required for the film's gritty, dystopian atmosphere. As a result, the production team had to construct many of these dilapidated locations from scratch, transforming ordinary areas into the decaying, post-apocalyptic environment seen in the film. Additionally, the ambitious helicopter scene in The Matrix faced significant hurdles during filming, nearly halting production altogether. The crew's decision to fly a helicopter through restricted airspace in Sydney, Australia, violated local aviation laws, creating a serious legal issue. This incident threatened to shut down the entire production. However, the filmmaker's determination and the scene's importance to the film's narrative led to a unique solution. The laws in New South Wales were ultimately amended, allowing filming to continue. The groundbreaking bullet time sequence in The Matrix, where time appears to slow down dramatically, wasn't initially conceived using computer graphics. Visual effects supervisor John Gaida and director of photography Bill Pope initially experimented with traditional filmmaking techniques, building various gimbals and dollies designed to move the camera at incredibly high speeds around the action. However, these attempts proved unsuccessful, leading to numerous failed tests and broken equipment. Ultimately, they had to pivot to computer graphics, requiring the creation of entirely new software to achieve the desired effect. Interestingly, despite the heavy reliance on CGI, the bullet time sequence still incorporated a very old technique: still photography. A series of still cameras were positioned around the action and triggered simultaneously, creating the frozen-in-time look of the background, while the character moved in slow motion. This technique allowed the Wachowskis to capture these visually stunning moments relatively quickly, often completing a bullet time shot in just about 90 minutes. This blend of cutting-edge technology and traditional methods resulted in one of cinema's most iconic visual achievements. By mid-2002, the revolutionary bullet time sequence had become a cultural phenomenon, leading to its appearance or parody in over 20 different movies. This rapid adoption and spoofing of the technique underscore the profound impact The Matrix had on the film industry, transforming action sequences and visual effects in cinema and quickly becoming a widely recognized cinematic trope. The iconic green, falling code in The Matrix wasn't just a random visual effect. It was carefully designed to represent the digital nature of the simulated reality. Inspired by Japanese animation, the Wachowskis wanted a similar aesthetic for the code. Designer Simon Whiteley found his inspiration in his Japanese wife's cookbooks, using a mix of Japanese katakana characters and Arabic numerals. To make it even more symbolic of being inside the computer, the letters and numbers were often reversed, as if we were seeing the code from the machine's perspective, just like Neo's journey into understanding the Matrix. The green color was chosen to mimic the text on old IBM computer monitors. Finally, to make the code look less clean and harder to decipher, even for Japanese speakers, parts of the characters were cropped, and extra lines and dots were added. This created a familiar yet incomprehensible flow, perfectly mirroring how the Matrix itself is a recognizable but ultimately artificial and complex system that Neo learns to understand from within. The distinctive sunglasses that became synonymous with the Matrix were custom-made by the label Blind, a company known for its handmade eyewear. To secure the film's sunglasses contract, Blind's founder, Richard Walker, competed against major brands like Ray-Ban and Arnett. Walker's unique approach involved designing sunglasses based specifically on the characters' names, demonstrating a level of creative intuition that set him apart. After winning the contract, Walker allegedly traveled to Sydney and spent the entire duration of the film's production creating custom sunglasses for the cast from the back of an Oxford Street optometrist. The immense popularity of the movie eventually had a profound impact, even on his cast, particularly Carrie-Anne Moss, as after the film's release, Moss found that wearing sunglasses made her instantly recognizable in public, making it difficult for her to walk out anonymously. The iconic role of Trinity was highly sought after, and several prominent actresses were considered before Carrie-Anne Moss was ultimately cast. In addition to Sandra Bullock, whom I mentioned in the first part of this series, Jada Pinkett Smith was an early contender but felt she lacked on-screen chemistry with Keanu Reeves. However, her audition left such a positive impression on the Wachowski directors, so much so that when they began developing the sequels, they specifically created the character of Niobe with Pinkett Smith in mind. Salma Hayek was also reportedly considered, but she cited the significant physical demands of the role as a reason for not landing it. Additionally, names like Madonna, Janet Jackson, and Gabrielle Union also auditioned for The Matrix, although it wasn't confirmed which role were they considered for. During the pivotal scene where Morpheus reveals the true nature of the Matrix to Neo, he utters the significant phrase,
"Welcome to the desert of the real."
This line is a direct reference to Jean Baudrillard's influential philosophical work, Simulacra and Simulation, the very book Neo uses to conceal his illicit software. In his book, Baudrillard argues that modern society has transitioned into a state of hyper-reality, where simulations of reality have become so prevalent that they have replaced genuine experience, disconnecting us from any original reality. Furthermore, he suggests that Western civilization has developed a preference for these simulations over authentic reality. This proliferation of copies without originals, or simulacra, leads to a trivialization of originality and ultimately transforms reality into a barren and unfulfilling desert. Morpheus's use of this phrase encapsulates the core concept of the Matrix, a convincing but ultimately false simulation that humanity has come to accept as reality, blinding them to the desolate truth of their existence. Before this movie became a cultural phenomenon, it faced significant skepticism from Hollywood studio executives. Many passed on the project, viewing virtual reality science fiction as a risky and unprofitable genre. They pointed to the box office failure of previous films exploring similar themes, such as Johnny Mnemonic, which ironically also starred Keanu Reeves, as evidence of this supposed bad business. These executives were hesitant to invest in a complex and potentially niche concept, highlighting the inherent risk aversion within the film industry and the difficulty of predicting which unconventional ideas will resonate with audiences. Ultimately, the Wachowskis' vision and the film's groundbreaking execution proved these initial concerns wrong, demonstrating that innovative and well-crafted science fiction can achieve massive success. This movie achieved a remarkable feat at the Academy Awards, winning in all 4 categories for which it was nominated. These wins for Best Film Editing, Best Sound, Best Visual Effects, and Best Sound Editing demonstrated the film's technical brilliance and innovative filmmaking. What made this achievement particularly notable was that The Matrix accomplished this clean sweep without receiving a nomination for Best Picture. In 2012, The Matrix earned a prestigious spot in the National Film Registry Archives, selected by the U.S. Library of Congress for its immense cultural, historical, and artistic importance. This designation recognizes films that have left a lasting mark on society and cinematic history, and The Matrix is no exception. Its groundbreaking bullet-time visual effects revolutionized action filmmaking, showcasing a level of creativity and innovation that inspired countless directors and productions. Beyond its technical achievements, the movie resonated deeply with audiences through its complex exploration of reality, free will, and the intersection of humanity and technology. By combining philosophical depth with stunning visuals, The Matrix has cemented its place as one of the most influential and iconic movies of all time. The powerful and recognizable opening theme music that accompanies each Matrix film subtly evolves in key as the trilogy progresses. In The Matrix, the theme begins in the key of E minor, For the sequel, The Matrix Reloaded, the same core theme is transposed upwards by a whole step to F-sharp minor. Finally, in The Matrix Revolutions, the theme ascends another half step to the key of G minor. This deliberate musical progression, where the key rises with each installment, mirrors the narrative arc of Neo's journey and the escalating stakes of the war against the machines. It's a sophisticated sonic cue that subtly reinforces the increasing intensity and the sense of upward trajectory within the overall storyline of the trilogy. A fascinating Easter egg is shown at the end of the film. During Neo's climactic handfight against Agent Smith, the defensive moves he employs are almost identical to the seemingly mundane chores that Mr. Miyagi taught Daniel LaRusso as a form of karate training. These chores, waxing the car, painting the fence, sanding the floor, and painting the house, were designed to instill muscle memory and fundamental defensive blocks. The fact that Neo instinctively uses these very motions in a life-or-death struggle, after truly understanding the nature of the Matrix and his abilities within it, subtly highlights the effectiveness of foundational training, even in the most extraordinary circumstances. It's a clever Easter egg that connects two seemingly disparate films through the universal language of martial arts principles. The names and even addresses within the Matrix are laden with symbolic meaning, particularly in relation to the digital world. Neo's name is a direct anagram of One, and the central conflict of the first film revolves around whether he is indeed the One, the prophesied savior. In stark contrast, one of the meanings of cipher is zero, as it's derived from the Arabic word sifr. Together, the concepts of 0 and 1 form the fundamental basis of binary code, the language underpinning all modern computer data, and thus the very fabric of the Matrix itself. This connection is further emphasized by Neo's living in apartment 101. Even Trinity's name, meaning group of three, is echoed in her first appearance in room 303, which is the same room number Neo is directed to when fleeing the agents before he's shot by Agent Smith, adding another layer of numerical symbolism within the film's intricate design. The name Morpheus in this film carries a significant layer of irony rooted in Greek mythology. In ancient tales, Morpheus is the god of dreams, who's responsible for shaping and delivering them to mortals. However, in The Matrix, Morpheus's central purpose is the antithesis of his mythological namesake. His mission is to awaken individuals like Neo from the illusory dream state of the Matrix, revealing the harsh reality of their enslavement. In a chilling foreshadowing of his own evolution, Agent Smith articulates his view of humanity to Morpheus, comparing humans to a cancer that relentlessly consumes resources and spreads. This initial analogy takes on a literal dimension in The Matrix Revolutions. Having been unbound by Neo's actions at the end of the first film, Smith transforms from a program enforcing order into a rogue entity that replicates himself across the Matrix, effectively becoming a computer virus himself. He consumes other programs and even takes over human hosts jacked into the system, mirroring his earlier description of humanity's destructive nature. This dramatic transformation highlights the ironic nature of his character arc, as he ultimately embodies the very destructive force he once condemned. The iconic role of Morpheus, eventually brought to life by Lawrence Fishburne, had quite a few other notable actors in consideration. In addition to the late Val Kilmer, Russell Crowe was reportedly offered the part, but turned it down as he wasn't interested in the world of science fiction. Many big names were also considered for the role, including the likes of Samuel L. Jackson, Gary Oldman, Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, Anthony Hopkins, and Robert De Niro, though not all of them were approached for it. While it's fascinating to imagine how these different actors might have interpreted the character, Lawrence Fishburne's powerful portrayal ultimately became synonymous with Morpheus. Reflecting back on his time playing the character, Fishburne later said, "What I get with Morpheus is I've got Darth Vader in this hand, and I've got Obi-Wan in that hand. I've got Bruce Lee, I've got Muhammad Ali shuffled in there, and I've got Kung Fu. It's pretty good." the Oracle's seemingly ambiguous statement to Neo when she says,
"Sorry, kid. You got the gift. But it looks like you're waiting for something.
What?
Your next life, maybe."
foreshadows a pivotal moment in his transformation. While she tells him at that moment that he isn't the one, her statement hints that a significant event, perhaps even a metaphorical death of his former self, is necessary for him to fully embrace his power. This prophecy comes to fruition at the film's climax when Neo is seemingly killed by Agent Smith, only to be resurrected by Trinity's love. This resurrection marks his complete awakening and acceptance of his role, effectively making the Oracle's comment about a next life a prophetic truth regarding his ultimate transformation into the One. The groundbreaking action sequences in the film were heavily inspired by the Wachowskis' deep appreciation for Japanese animation, particularly films like Ninja Scroll and Akira. However, Ghost in the Shell, which I also mentioned in the first part of this series, served as an especially significant influence, shaping the film's cyberpunk aesthetic and philosophical themes alongside its dynamic action. Producer Joel Silver recounted that the Wachowskis initially pitched their vision for The Matrix by showing him examples of this anime and saying, "We want to do that for real." The very title Matrix carries a profound double meaning, rooted in its late Latin origin as the word for womb. In the context of the film, the warning scene in the beginning, which reads, "The Matrix has you," operates on two levels. Firstly, it refers to the computer-generated virtual reality, the Matrix itself, which holds the human minds captive within a convincing illusion. Secondly, it alludes to the physical reality of the humans, who are unknowingly held in artificial wombs, or pods, where their bioelectric energy is harvested by the machines. This dual interpretation as both a mental prison and a physical incubator underscores the film's core concept of a pervasive and inescapable system of control that encompasses both the mind and the body. In a deleted line from the movie, Cypher reveals to Neo that there were several other individuals that Morpheus previously believed to be the One, the prophesied savior of humanity, and that all of them met their demise while attempting to confront the powerful agents within the Matrix. The script was then changed with Morpheus telling Neo that a second savior will come to liberate the humans again. However, The Matrix Reloaded significantly recontextualized this plot point, revealing a deceptive truth about the concept of the One. Contrary to the initial understanding, Neo was not the second iteration of this prophesied individual, but rather the sixth in a recurring cycle. Furthermore, his destiny wasn't simply to liberate humanity. Instead, the One was revealed to be an integral, albeit unwitting component of the machine's sophisticated system of control over mankind. The Matrix Revolutions then focused on Neo's struggle to transcend this seemingly endless loop, a pattern repeated by his 5 predecessors as he attempted to forge a different outcome for humanity's relationship with the machines. The choice of the Desert Eagle pistols as the standard sidearm for the agents in The Matrix was a deliberate stylistic decision by the Wachowskis, even though it went against the advice of their armorer. Desert Eagles are often considered more of a novelty firearm due to their large 50 caliber rounds, which produce significant recoil that is difficult to manage accurately, especially with one hand. This makes the agent's consistently one-handed and precise use of the weapon highly unrealistic. However, this very unrealistic handling served a specific purpose within the film's narrative. By portraying the agents wielding such a powerful and unwieldy weapon with effortless control, the Wachowskis visually emphasized their inhuman, almost robotic efficiency, and further underscored their nature as programs within the Matrix, operating beyond the physical limitations of humans. The character of Switch in the original conception of the movie had a very different backstory that was ultimately simplified for the film. The initial idea was that Switch's gender would change or switch upon entering the Matrix, hence their name. In the real world, Switch would appear as male, while within the Matrix, they would appear female. This concept was intended to be a clever exploration of the residual self-image, the mental projection of oneself within the simulated reality. When actress Belinda McClory initially auditioned for the role, she was going for only half the role. However, Warner Brothers made the decision to cut this complex element, giving Switch a consistently androgynous presentation in both realities as a subtle nod to the original idea. Lily Wachowski later revealed that the character of Switch held a trans metaphor and reflected their their own closeted point of view at the time regarding their gender identity. This early concept for Switch, though not fully realized on screen, offers a glimpse into the deeper personal themes that informed the creation of the film. During the combat training program scene when Neo attempts to gather himself during the training fight with Morpheus, setting himself up for the next bout, Keanu Reeves spontaneously rubbed his nose with his thumb, a gesture reminiscent of the iconic martial artist Bruce Lee's pre-attack move. This subtle nod to Lee was an improvisation by Reeves during filming. Although he felt the take wasn't his strongest overall performance, he successfully convinced the directors to keep the moment in the final cut. When Neo first joins Trinity in the car, the character Switch refers to him with the unusual nickname Copper Top.
Listen to me, Copper Top. We don't have time for 20 questions.
This seemingly random moniker is actually a clever piece of foreshadowing and a subtle nod to a key element of the film's lore, as Copper Top is slang for Duracell batteries, easily recognizable by their copper-colored tops. This is the very same brand of battery that Morpheus later uses to illustrate to Neo how the machines have enslaved humanity, using their bioelectrical energy as a power source. Switch's seemingly casual nickname thus serves as an early, almost subliminal connection to the disturbing truth about humanity's role in the machine-dominated world. For the iconic lobby shootout and elevator scenes in The Matrix, the firearms wielded by Keanu Reeves were not the heavy, real weapons they appeared to be. According to the film's armorer, John Bowering, these were lightweight plastic replicas, meticulously cast from MP-5K submachine guns. Weighing a mere 150 to 200 grams, these prop guns allowed Reeves to handle them with ease and perform the intricate action choreography without being encumbered by significant weight. However, heavier versions of the same weapons were also created and used for specific shots, such as when they were dropped onto the floor to provide a more realistic sound and visual impact. The Matrix cleverly utilized existing film sets to enhance its production value. Several exterior sets, including rooftops and buildings, originally constructed for the 1998 film Dark City, were repurposed for The Matrix. For instance, the rooftops Trinity expertly traverses in the opening action sequence are the very same ones John Murdoch runs across in Dark City. Interestingly, both films share a thematic similarity, exploring the concept of humanity being unknowingly trapped within a meticulously crafted illusion by external forces. This thematic overlap led to some accusations that The Matrix had plagiarized Dark City. However, it's important to note that the screenplay for The Matrix was written well before Dark City was released, indicating that the shared sets were a matter of practical resourcefulness rather than intentional imitation of narrative themes. The Wachowskis aimed for a high level of control over the film's reality, extended even to the portrayal of animals within the simulated world. They revealed that all animals seen in the Matrix universe, including the iconic black cat in the hotel, were created with CGI. This decision wasn't just about visual effects. It was a deliberate choice to reinforce the idea that the Matrix was a fully constructed reality, where even seemingly natural elements were artificial. By using CGI for animals, the filmmakers emphasized the artificial nature of the world the characters inhabited, contributing to the film's overall theme of questioning reality. And this concludes all the fun facts about the fascinating world of The Matrix. From groundbreaking special effects and Easter eggs to the philosophical questions it posed, this movie truly left an indelible mark on cinema. So, if you enjoyed uncovering these fun facts and want to dive deeper into more awesome movie lore and behind-the-scenes secrets, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the films and stories you love. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next video.